Hey everybody, here's another beer review from Cheer to Beers. My name is Travis, and tonight we're looking at a brewery that is probably not well known by a lot of people, but I have an aunt that lives in Cocoa Beach, so I've had some beer from this brewery, and this is my second time trying this one, and I have another bottle. It's their 888 IPA. This is, I think, a beer they make all the time, as much as they can. It comes in bombers, and they have it on tap at their very small brew pub in Cocoa Beach. Definitely check their brewery out. It's a really unique place, and they do make some solid beers. So I haven't officially reviewed this one, but let's get into it and see what we got. As you can see in the pour, it's this really murky orange copper color. The head is just like soapy bubbles, and there's not much head to speak of. It's not hardly sticking to the glass. It's just not overall. This beer is definitely not that pleasing to the eyes. Let's give it a smell. Yeah, I'm not getting a ton of hops. I'm assuming this bottle is pretty fresh. My dad brought it back from Cocoa Beach a couple of weeks ago, and it was right out of the brewery. But I'm just getting like this sweet malt, not hardly any hops at all. Maybe some kind of resiny pine hops. Is the main one I'm getting. Still not a lot of it, especially for an IPA. I think this is about 8% alcohol. I don't think it says on here, but I think I looked it up, and on Beer Advocate has it at 8%. It might be somewhere between 7 and 8. So far, yeah, it smells not the best thing in the world. Okay, here we go, guys. The 888 IPA from Cocoa Beach Brewing Company. Cheers. Right up front, you start to get some of those tropical fruit notes from some hops. It's a real thick mouthfeel, kind of like the like some of the sugar didn't ferment out with the yeast, but it's got like a thick mouthfeel, and then you do get some of that sweetness and a tiny bit of biscuit flavor from the malt. Definitely drinks way better than that smell was. Yeah, right up front, you get those pine, tropical fruit, citrus hops. Not over the top, you're just getting them. It is decently bitter, and it does provide a little bit of sweetness. It's kind of getting more bitter as it goes on. You can hear me kind of making that noise with your mouth when something's bitter. Pretty decent. Let me get one more sip before I get out to my final thoughts and rating. Yeah, the hops really come out in the taste. It's definitely a malt-forward IPA. Very not very sweet, I guess. I was going to say it was very sweet. I would say it's on the sweet side, but it's not as sweet as like a Dogfish 90 Min or something like that. You can tell it's not a super sweet malt they used, but it's still decently sweet. Hits you with a lot of bitterness. They must use a lot of bitter and hops in this. I'm going to check out and maybe look it up and see what they use, but just overall, an interesting beer. Nothing crazy right now, but I'm going to sip on it for a little bit longer, and we'll get back with my final thoughts and my rating on the 888 IPA from Cocoa Beach Brewing Company. Okay, and back with my final thoughts, my rating of the 888 IPA from Cocoa Beach Brewing Company. And initially, I was really worried that this beer was going to be terrible. I've had one bad bottle before, and I was a little worried that this was gonna happen again, but it didn't. Initially, you know, the appearance was bad, the smell was nothing, really, but the taste really kind of saved this beer, if you want to put it that way. It really just brought out a lot of good hop flavor. It has a nice bitterness that kind of lingers throughout. But it's also still drinkable. The bitterness is all, it's still on my tongue. It's not going away. But it's a good bitterness. I like it. You're getting some refreshing notes out of this beer from the hops. The malt's kind of taking its back seat, and the beer it drinks a little heavy for an IPA. I was kind of surprised, but definitely a pretty good IPA. I'm kind of liking this one the more I drink it. I think I'm gonna go ahead. I'm still gonna give this one probably. I'm probably gonna go. I want to go. Yeah, I'm thinking like 6 and 7, in between like a 6 and a 7. I'm gonna go ahead and go with a 7 out of 10 on this one. It's something I'd probably pick up again. I enjoy this brewery. I like how local. You know, they're local to Cocoa Beach. They don't distribute outside of probably 50 miles of where they're at, maybe less. But if you can get this beer, pick it up, give it a try. Hopefully you get a good bottle. But don't be worried about that. Pick it up. I think it runs like $8.99, $7.99 for a bottle. It's a nice IPA. Don't be put off by the smell and the appearance. Give it a taste, because you're not going to be disappointed. Definitely a solid one. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave me some comments. And until next time, cheers.